Happy 51st birthday, son. I'm one that has been with you through all of those birthdays. Plus that, I have 9 months on anyone. Recently, when your dad and I were in Conway and met you and Reagan for lunch, Reagan said, Mama, tell me about a few days before Daddy's birth. What were you doing? What was it like? So at that time, I shared the story of your birth with you and Reagan, and I think I need to repeat it for this video so that you'll always have it, and maybe someday you'll want to share it with your grandchildren. With both of my pregnancies, with your sister Mignon and then with you, I was terribly fortunate. I never experienced one day of morning sickness, noon sickness, or evening sickness. I got through both pregnancies without ever throwing up. However, with you, I had 8 good months, but on the 9th month, I became sick. I was very lethargic. I couldn't tend to Mignon very well. I ate, and your dad decided he would have to hire someone to come in and help me take care of Mignon. During this time, I didn't get to go to worship service. And one Wednesday night, Gwen Bristow, the minister's wife, called me and said, Gordine, you've not been coming to church, and we know that you're sick. So, in the morning, a group of ladies are going to come out and visit with you. Now, don't worry about refreshments because we're going to take care of all of that. Well, I'd been sick for a month, and when I received that telephone call, I got sicker because I didn't want to deal with a group of women. I fretted and stressed all night long. And the next morning, I was really sick. So I told your dad, I'm going to the hospital. I know it's not time for the baby, but I have got to have some relief. So your dad dressed Mignon and took her next door to Mama Good. And he came back and he said, are you ready? And I said, I'm ready to go. So I walked over to the hospital, and when the lady said, oh, is it time for the baby? I said, no, ma'am, but I've got to have some relief. I have no idea what is wrong with me. That was about the last thing I remember until I woke up and was told that I'd had a baby right after 9 o'clock. And he was 8 pounds, 13 ounces. They brought you to me, and I looked at you, and you had deep scars on your face, and they were very red. The doctor came in and said that you had been a partial breech birth, and I had a very difficult time in delivery, and he had to use forceps much more than usual. But he said everything's going to be okay. But he said, you know, you are a sick lady, and you're not going to get to see the baby probably during the time that you're in the hospital. I stayed a week, and sure enough, I didn't get to see you until the night before I was to take you home. Taking you home proved to be quite an experience. The nurse came in and said, "Have your husband meet us at the emergency entrance." And I told her, when I came to the hospital, I walked. I planned to walk back home. And she said, "That's against policy and procedure. I can't release you unless you and the baby get in a car." Since I definitely wanted to take you home, well, I sent your dad to get the car, and the nurse rolled me down in a wheelchair, put me in the car, and we went home. Now, just a little tidbit that you've heard many, many times, but your sister really didn't care for you. On the second day you were home, she poured a cup of water into your bassinet. Of course, she was reprimanded, but it didn't really do too much good, because the next day she got a fork and she started stabbing you. And of course, she got her little hands spanked. But she looked at me, and I'll never forget, she said, "I will get rid of him." Of course, now you two have an excellent rapport, and